We're giving it a shot, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Chally and the Boys. I am your host, Stephen Chalicombe, and joined with me, thankfully again, almost as always, is one of the co-hosts, William. William, how you doing tonight?
Pretty solid evening. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, is to care.
I have my thinking cap on.
Thinking caps on. So we got a little bit of a surprise for, well, at least the co-host. It's not a surprise to me. But to be fair, I also did not prepare for this to make this as fair as possible.
Okay.
So what we are going to start tonight, that Will is about to find out, is
Okay.
at least a four-part series to the
Okay.
Chally and the Boys mock draft. So what we're gonna do is do a
Okay.
full round one mock draft, ideally once a week, up into the
Okay.
drafts. And I mean, I think obviously we mostly care about the Dallas Cowboys draft pick, that 26, but let's see how many of the other picks we can get right. So I expect
Okay.
tonight to be a total shit show, and probably
Yeah.
not be close, but hopefully that's kind of what makes it fun. And then maybe 4 weeks from now, let's just see how many we get right or wrong,
Okay.
whatever it is. So without further ado, because everything's recording, let's do a little screen sharing. So Will, just tell me you can see our mock draft simulator.
I can, yes.
Okay.
Indeed, I can see.
All right. Just want to make sure. So how would you like to do this? Do you want to go first? Well, so we're gonna go every other pick. Uh,
Okay.
I would say we keep the same order every time to just keep it fair. No, fuck that. We'll just
Okay.
change it up every time.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
whatever.
do you want to go first tonight, or do you want to go first next week? Or we go like
Uh,
rock paper scissors for it over Skype or something?
okay, let's
Odds and
see.
evens or some shit.
No, you know what? How about it's your idea. Uh, you get to choose on how if you'd like to go first or second.
Okay, I'm gonna go second.
Okay, so I'll go first. Okay.
Yep. So unless you have any other questions, comments, or concerns,
Yes.
you do.
hmm
What's your question?
My main question is so, are we doing this on? I guess if we're trying to try to keep track, we're gonna do this on how we think it's gonna turn out,
Well, yeah. I mean, I
right?
hope
Because
as the
not
Panthers, you're not taking like I don't know, yeah, something dumb. Like
okay,
who you
okay,
think? I mean, we're obviously not Panthers or Texans or Cardinals fans, but so what I also have pulled up to the side here is the team needs.
yeah,
If
that
for
would be
some
good.
reason
Yeah,
you just need that, I can throw you some team needs, and we'll base it on that. Obviously, preface to anybody who does potentially watch this, we know nothing about, or we pretty much know nothing about the rest of the teams other than maybe where some of their holes are. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
keep that in mind. We're just kind of winging this for fun.
10
Um,
years ago, I would have had a lot of information on every team. Now I basically just follow
yeah,
Dallas.
yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So if you're ready, you are, I guess, technically on the clock
I'm
with
on the
the
clock.
Carolina Panthers.
I might be taking the.
And if you need me to scroll or look at a position, just let me know.
I will let you know. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
I might be taking the easy route here, and I'm going to,
Bitch.
but I'm gonna take C.J. Stroud.
Okay. You sure?
Yes, that is what I'm. Yes, I'm very sure of that.
Okay. C.J. Stroud is off the board at number one to the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
I tell you what, this is not an interesting draft already. I guess it's pretty standard. Granted, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
heard some other uh, news for the Panthers, but you know what? I'm going to keep that for my pick next week.
Oh, okay, okay.
Secrets here.
That's
All
smart.
right, number two on the clock, Houston Texans. So I think we've all heard that they're pretty interested in Bryce Young. I think I'm going to keep it pretty standard here as well, um, and go with Bryce Young. So quarterback,
Okay.
Alabama.
Uh, that's yeah, that's probably what I would have done too. Now, let me just ask you one thing. If
hmm
I'm to ask you what the team needs are, I see the team needs thing there in the middle, but it's like blacked out. Is there a reason?
That's just how this website is. But so I was playing with this earlier. If I click team needs,
Yeah.
I hate to be like dumb, but I don't know how to get out of it. So I have it open on a second window.
Okay, okay, okay.
If you need, just I can tell you what they are.
Okay. Well, it's kind of weird because Arizona's a dumpster fire,
Arizona needs
right?
everything.
And I mean, if I'm being 100% honest with anybody that's listening here, they need a quarterback too. I mean, Kyler Murray is not the truth. Okay, I'm just
Um,
gonna be honest with people. Okay,
so
but okay,
I was gonna say, I mean, I don't disagree, but I mean, they've paid him, didn't they?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ooh, that's actually a solid question.
Oh crap! Wait, did they?
I
Hold on
think
a
they
second.
did. Yeah, they did. Because remember the contract shit came out. They were like, "Oh yeah, like we got to
Yeah. Oh
make
yeah.
sure he
Yeah. No
studies
video
so
game
many
playing.
hours a
Yeah.
week or some shit." Yeah, so they paid him, so they're stuck.
All right.
Uh,
So
barring something crazy, I guess, of
and
course.
this is and like you said, I think the biggest thing about this was we don't know exactly how exactly all other teams are lined up, position value and stuff. But
Yeah.
there's not a receiver I would take here right now with pick 3, and they already have the quarterback position. So in my opinion, there's only two positions they can take here is a guy who's going to get the quarterback or a guy who's going to block for
Yep.
the quarterback. So
Yeah.
I'll
So those
just
two are the
take
biggest needs.
I'll take Paris Johnson Jr.
Oh, okay.
You
All
know,
right.
offensive tackle.
Yeah, I like that pick. Yeah, everybody likes a nice fat OT.
Yep.
Um, so we'll get him off the board. Easy day. Um, number 4, Indianapolis Colts. I probably should have prepared better for this. Who's their quarterback? They're
Uh,
they're fucked right
I,
now.
I
They
I
they
don't
they
think they
need
have
a
one.
quarterback, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe this is where this gets hairy. Because I think there are a couple teams out there that under the radar really like Anthony Richardson for
Yes.
his traits.
Yeah. Yeah, he has
Ah,
no abilities
man.
outside of the traits. Like that's his driving force, if that makes
But
sense.
I don't I mean I really think Will Levis is also I don't want to say overrated because I think it's the wrong term, but I don't know that anybody's excited to take him at 4.
Yeah.
But man, the Colts are desperate. They really
I,
have
I
nothing going for them.
can I just ask
So
you one more question too
yeah,
before
yeah,
we
yeah,
get
yeah.
like too far in the weeds here?
Hmm.
Now, another thing to think about is I've heard because I live in the DC area, right? So I listen to DC talk radio, and that means I also the Commanders or whatever, right? But that means I also get Ravens information, right?
Yep.
And I've heard that the Colts are a legit
Interested
dark
in for
horse
Lamar,
for
right?
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I mean, they wouldn't trade the fourth overall pick and something for Lamar, and another first round pick. You know what I mean? But they might say we'll give you next year's and the year after that's for Lamar Jackson. They're still getting 2 1s, but they're not going to trade number 4 overall.
Yeah, I wonder if that would work. Hmm.
I mean, that's what they get. Fuck them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, they say yes, they say yes. I think I'm gonna try and spice this up immediately at pick number 4.
Okay.
Um, and I'm gonna go with the guy I think I've actually heard Brian Broaddus, or at least his team of guys at the draft show. Maybe it wasn't
Okay.
Brian per se.
Yep.
That there would be some interest in trading up for this guy,
Okay.
and I'm gonna take Miles Murphy edge from Clemson for the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. All right.
It's absolutely a need for the Colts. I mean, hell, everybody needs an edge rusher.
True.
Um, and I think they're just in such a point to rebuild that, I don't know that they would want Will Levis to be their guy.
I wouldn't.
I mean, yeah, so fuck it. I mean, it's too late now. I already took Miles Murphy, edge, Clemson.
True. 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 True.
We'll see what we get next week for the Colts. So you are now on the clock
Okay.
with the Seahawks at 5.
And
They're another pretty interesting team.
right. I would. I mean, they got the receiver situation situated. They always seem to need linemen because that was kind of the reason why your boy Russell Wilson left because he was getting killed all the time,
It's murdered.
or and blah blah blah. But with all that being said, listen, I know the dude's an animal, right? Apparently he's killing his teammates with going like
Oh, you
195
can't
zillion miles an
say
hour and
that,
shit.
dude.
But they gotta be smart and just take Jalen Carter, right? I mean, he's. Oh, well, you know what?
So I don't know if you
I'll.
heard.
I'll.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was say I don't know if you heard the latest, and by the latest I mean I think this came out really like about 10 days ago. But so I don't want to say he's getting off the hook, but he's pretty much getting off the hook in the sense that he's really got like a year probation essentially.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's
He's
not gonna
good to
get. He's not getting in trouble.
play,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
But I'm gonna double take on that back. I forgot neither one of us took Will Anderson. I'll take Will Anderson with Seattle.
okay, you sure?
Yes, sure.
All right. This is going to keep getting interesting because
Although can it because we're gonna come back to this, right?
yep.
We're gonna come back to this. I wanna let be known Seattle is not gonna take Will Anderson or Jalen Carter if this situation pans out. They're gonna take Tyrese Wilson, the dude from Texas Tech. The
Okay.
Seattle is about one of the most reckless drafting teams there is, and nobody. I mean, it's Texas Tech's defense, right? I mean, you can't do that to yourself. So
Okay. All right. I like it.
yeah,
Number six, Detroit Lions.
yes.
Um,
And what is this pick from? Is this from the
trade with the
Rams?
Rams. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
okay,
Yeah. So the Seahawks have two picks. So their next one's like what 22, I think, or something.
okay.
20. Um,
Close, close.
okay. So Detroit is another funny team as well, which I guess is odd because I think I've said that a couple times. Like a couple of these teams got unique situations, but so I actually believe, I firmly believe that Dan Campbell is happy with Jared Goff being his quarterback. I
Yeah.
think he thinks that they could win with Jared Goff, and I don't know that he's wrong, but I don't know that I'd be happy that he's my quarterback. So, and they have a pretty solid wide receiver core.
And
They've
they just, yeah, I think
they picked up
Marvin Jones just
Hutchinson
re-signed
last
there too.
year,
Yep.
so they're probably going to want a guy who can play on the line, like you said earlier, to protect the quarterback and get the quarterback.
Hmm.
You know what that means, right?
I do.
Work. Okay.
That's when you draft Anthony Richardson. You know what I mean? You know
Oh
you got
man.
your quarterback. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, just in case, right?
No, no.
I, I'm gonna go Christian Gonzalez here, cornerback out of Oregon. I don't think you can really go wrong with a lockdown corner. Um, they've got the weapons on offense. I think they're pretty happy with. Why not corner, right? So Christian
Yeah, and
Gonzalez,
I like that pick. I like it.
take yourself a lockdown corner early, or at least what's supposed to be a lockdown corner. So that brings you to seven, Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, and so uh before what's his face took over, the dude from the Patriots as coach, and as far as I'm concerned, he's in over his head, and
Oh yeah, he's
McDaniel's.
fucked. Yeah,
Um, Before this, I mean, if this situation played out, this was a guarantee. Like they would have ran the card, they would have ran Jalen Carter right to the thing.
yeah, and they're not.
But and they're not
They're
going
gonna
to.
draft something dumb here in real
They're
life.
going to draft something dumb here because they brought in Jimmy G, right?
Hmm.
And they let Derek Carr go, which is, I mean, whatever, I mean, I get it, whatever you like or whatever. And I think they didn't pick up the fifth round option on Josh Jacobs, so he's a free agent, I think now, or maybe they gave him the franchise
They
tag,
tagged him, I thought.
right? So you got to think about Bijan Robinson here.
Stop.
Okay, I'm not saying this is what I'm doing. Okay, but this is where Tyree Wilson goes.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just saying that they gotta they got Crosby on one end, right? I mean, he's a solid player, a solid rusher or whatever. They got to keep. I mean, they got to kill Patrick Mahomes, right? They're not gonna be able. They're never gonna be able to score with the Chiefs, right? So they
Okay.
got to get guys that can get them. So
Yeah.
that's the
Okay.
option
So
there.
Tyree Wilson.
Yes, sir.
All right, taking him off the board. Raiders take Tyree Wilson.
No.
Which takes us to eight, the Atlanta
Yeah,
Falcons.
Raiders.
Um, man, all these fucking even teams kind of suck drafting for. So this actually so this says that the Falcons could use a quarterback. Didn't
Yep.
they just fucking they drafted Ritter and didn't they just sign fucking didn't they sign
Well,
someone? No,
Ritter
was like
was like a fourth round pick, wasn't he?
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not saying
So I
he's got
mean,
to be the dude. I could have sworn they signed someone though, like a vet. Hmm.
I know they let Mariota go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So maybe their need at quarterback is greater than what I had previously realized, which is fine. Um. But man, similar to what you said about the Seahawks, the fucking Falcons suck at drafting too.
Yep,
Um.
that's true.
And they do wild shit all the time. Like I mean, the Kyle Pitts. Uh.
He's just
I think
wasting away.
it was a solid pick, but yeah, he's just wasting away because the rest of their team is fucking pissing down their legs.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's crazy that Jalen Carter's just gonna
I
keep
know.
sliding for no
He's the
reason.
best. He's the best player in the draft.
It's stupid. Um,
It is. It is stupid. You're right. Legit.
Devin
But he.
Witherspoon
Okay. Yeah.
done.
Yeah. No, I
Illinois
mean.
corner. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
solid corner, or
Yeah.
again projected to be a solid corner. So I think
You'll.
I think they're crazy
Go ahead.
enough
Go
to
ahead.
do something like that. I think they're willing to ride this Derek Ritter train and see what happens. Or like I said, I could have sworn they really signed a vet
Oh,
recently.
they did. They did. I know it. I don't know why I didn't. Sorry, I didn't put two together. They signed Tyler Heineke.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Taylor Heineke.
they're 1,000% ready to fucking ride that
And
train down to fucking
th-
whatever
they
shithole.
are when they signed Heineke, they had Falcons fans were hitting up DC radio and were saying that they were okay with sitting Ritter already because they wanted to ride the Heineke train. I'm dead serious. That's how you know you can't take Atlanta serious,
Oh
or they're
yeah,
at least they're fans. You know what I mean?
that's good stuff, man. Hey man, Heineke's the truth.
Yeah, he's something, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, I am not at the computer, so hopefully you can see who you're
Yep,
drafting for.
yep. I can. I'm drafting for the Bears,
Okay.
and
Oh right,
I
right,
will
right.
stall this out because you're not here.
Oh, I'm
Um.
back. And actually, before you say anything else, I
Oh,
want to get this on the record. I
okay.
think this is probably the most exciting pick. This is one of the top three most exciting picks of this entire draft. I don't know what it is, but
Okay.
I really enjoyed. This makes me sound like a Bears fan, but I actually really enjoyed the move of them trading back. Um,
Yeah.
and the work they've done in the offseason. Like, I think this is going to be a really exciting pick for the Bears, right? Like, not for me. Um, but I think as long as the Bears don't fuck this up, I think they have a really good opportunity to like actually win some games this year. So,
Well, I mean, so I'm gonna do you a solid since
mhm.
you said, this is a very exciting pick, and since it's a very exciting pick, I'm gonna draft the most exciting player in all the lands. I mean, they need to draft Robinson.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah. It's an explosive
I know they
weapon.
have a bad I know they have a bad offensive line, but they've invested into receiver, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really keep giving them too many receivers. I mean, the other option is take Jalen Carter here, but you know, I worry that people are not ready to, at this point they're not willing to gamble on because he did the same thing, and he showed up like 30 pounds overweight to his pro day and shit too, and then like didn't he like was out of shape, like he couldn't do all the drills.
How
So
much stock do you put into that though, right? Like, I mean, the dude is obviously a stud
yeah,
on tape,
I mean, yeah,
and
but
he's got
still, I
some shit
mean,
going on.
okay, so he doesn't have, he doesn't care about, yeah, of course he's good, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. So I'm taking Robinson.
Okay.
And also, I don't want him going to the Eagles.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
you
but
kind of hurt me. I
they got to
was.
give Josh Field or Justin Fields needs to get somebody. Justin Fields does not need to get 1,500 yards running by himself.
No, you're right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Um, so this hurts me because I think I could definitely see the Eagles taking Robinson, right? Like this is
yeah,
similar to the Dallas Cowboys going into the draft of 2016 when they picked up Elliott, right? Like they were what they thought at the time a running back away, an elite running back away from winning a Super Bowl, which I would still argue they were before Tony Romo fucking died. Um,
but this is a conversation for another day because this conversation could literally be hour. This could be like a dozen episodes.
oh sure.
What you're saying, you know what I mean?
Um, so I think in this exact situation, I think the
Hmm.
Eagles are running up to the stage to
Yep.
take Jalen Carter.
Yep.
I think with the aging Fletcher Cox, the loss of Hargrave, um, why wouldn't you fill
They luck out.
a
Yeah.
pretty good need with arguably the greatest talent in the draft? So Jalen Carter to the fucking Eagles at 10.
Yeah, I
Just
mean
depressing.
they lucked out. I would much rather them as a Cowboy fan get Jalen Carter instead of Robinson. But I really don't like either. I'd rather
Yeah,
them.
both would be pretty gross.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
Okay, I get the Titans, and yeah, can I just? This is I know this is gonna be a long story, like you said, but this is the Titans have got to be the most boring team in the league, right?
yeah, they're
I mean,
definitely
they
up
have
there for
Derrick
sure.
Henry's pretty exciting or whatever, you know what I mean? But he's just a He's breaking down, right? He's been hurt the last 2 years, so
Hmm.
this is kind of
This is last year of his contract too, ain't it?
brouhaha. Um, yeah, I used to know that. I assume so. It feels like he's been there forever.
I'll look it up
It's
while
probably
you're
only been a few,
going.
blah blah. Um, you know, but they also, I mean, they don't have a quarterback either. And what do they got? Tannehill, and they drafted Willis, and Willis isn't a quarterback, and he's not an NFL quarterback. Let's just call it what it is. Everybody knew that when they drafted him. They just did what they thought was cute. So they got to draft and I don't know how to say the dude's name. I've heard his name 1,000 times. So I'm just gonna be out there and I'm just gonna say, hey, the wide receiver from Ohio State.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, dude.
Yeah,
JSN.
yeah, I could have said yeah, and Jigba and yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay. Yeah. So
Joku
that's a
Mo. You know what I'm
solid
saying? I don't
pick.
know. They
Um.
they got to get weapons out there. You know what I mean? And you got to have fun, or you got to be able to make plays. Is really,
Okay. Yeah, I respect it. Um. So we're back on the board with the Texans, and we
Yep.
previously drafted Bryce Young for the Texans.
Yes, you did. Yep.
Um. The Texans have also signed Noah
Fired him.
Brown and Dalton Schultz.
Yep.
I think Dalton Schultz definitely affects who you draft here. I don't think Noah Brown does, but
No, no.
um, maybe Dalton Schultz actually doesn't, right? Like, because you're not running your offense through Dalton Schultz. He could be a competent number two,
Yeah.
and they did just re-sign. Is their fucking tackle Lunzel?
Tunsil. Yeah, yeah.
Tunzel,
Jeremy
Lunzel,
Tunsil.
same
Yeah.
thing,
That was
whatever.
the dude with the reefer, right? The gas
Yeah,
mask
the
when he got
fucking
drafted.
gas
Yeah.
mask. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was pretty gangster.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. True.
and I guess you probably really want to protect your rookie quarterback. You have one of the best left tackles in the league in Tunzel,
They have a good right tackle too. I don't remember the dude's name, but I do know that they have a good right tackle.
and I know Skaronski can play to guard, play at guard. Like I think a lot of people have been projecting him actually to
Instead.
be ideal at guard. He's dead.
Yeah. No, no, no. Instead.
Oh, I was like,
Instead of playing
Jesus
tackle.
Christ,
Yeah.
I
No.
didn't see that news.
No. No. No.
The way you said it, I was like, oh
He
my
wasn't driving
God.
with Jalen Carter. No.
Uh,
I'm sorry.
and I don't know
That's
too much about Broderick Jones, so for my lack of knowledge on Broderick Jones, I'm gonna take actually Skaronski here to play guard. Um, and really beef up that line, which not only protects Bryce Young, yeah, uh, but probably keep maintains that running game they had with was it like Damian Pierce or whatever. So we'll take
it is
Skoronski.
Damian Pierce. Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
the Jets
So
to
I get
you
to
at
be the
13.
Jets.
Oh yeah,
Now, I'm you know I'm like the guy. They're not getting Aaron Rodgers. Let's just call it what it is. Okay.
you don't think so?
I don't know. I want to know what's going on. I don't know why the Jets would be stalling the Packers out. You know what I mean? Or the Packers asking for too much. That's possible. I don't know. But with that all being said, they're even if they aren't getting them, they're not going to draft a quarterback to replace Zach Wilson, right?
No.
I mean, they'll go try to trade for. I've heard Kirk Cousins available too, so maybe he's somebody. It would cost the Vikings a lot of money, but if the Jets are willing to trade draft picks for Aaron Rodgers, why wouldn't they be willing to trade draft picks to the Vikings? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with all that being said, with the Jets, I'll still take because I don't know why, but I feel like they have a good defense. But I know because also I listen to I listen to the Yes Network is another thing,
Sure.
or I listen to whatever, and I know they weren't making stops at the end of the year because they were on the field all the time because their offense was horrific. And if you can't get a quarterback to make, or if they do draft, or if they do trade for Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean? They got a good guy, and I'll just take Van Ness, the Iowa defensive end. I kind of have a little bit of
Okay.
knowledge of him because I know that some people have talked about him towards the Cowboys, so I have a little bit more knowledge
Yep.
about him than most other guys. But that I'll go there. That they need a guy who can rush the quarterback, try to end games.
Okay. So that's the Patriots at 14. I think I know who the Patriots are gonna draft.
Okay.
Not because like I'm some sort of fucking insider dude with the Patriots. Um, but the Patriots are another team who kind of draft really strange, especially in the first round. And they really have
Oh,
done so since Tom Brady moved on. Right, like the lineman they took last year,
dog shit.
like
Yeah, out
I
of
don't,
nowhere.
like nobody even knew who that dude was.
Hmm.
Obviously over exaggerated. So I'm not even going to hesitate, and I'm going to take Brian Breesy here, the defensive tackle from Clemson. And I
Okay.
think this is going to be a really strange pick. And again, this is me coming back to the Cowboys media I've listened to. Brian Breesy is really more of what they call a tweener than a true defensive tackle or a true defensive end. And that usually gets a lot of these kinds of players in trouble. Not in
Yeah.
trouble, but like, like they never really know where to put them. Um, the career, quite honestly, never really pans out because they're, playing tackle one fucking week and then edge next week, and then the coach is like, I don't even know what to fucking do with this dude anymore because he kind of sucks at both
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
can't keep him at one position. So I just kind of have a feeling the Patriots are going to just draft something weird because it's just they have
He'll
been.
end up a rotational piece. Instead of being a guy who can play every down,
Yeah.
he'll end up getting 40, 50, 40 snaps a game, but never really
Yeah, his
impacting it. I see what you're
his
saying.
size has been really compared to someone we're familiar with, Tyron Crawford, right? And he was
Yeah. Yeah.
considered much a tweener, right? He did play three tech and more interior defensive tackle, and he was on the edge. It was
They
bad.
could never
So
make up their mind. Yeah.
no. So I actually I will go through this first round, but through these first 14 picks, with the exception of probably the quarterbacks, I would put the most money on this one being accurate.
Okay. Um, with what I was saying before about the Jets and Rodgers, if they do move Rodgers, this is an easy pick. I just think they'll just take Will Levis.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
think I don't th- I don't think anybody thinks Jordan Love is any good.
No. Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't think anybody coming out of the. I remember everybody basically coming out of the draft saying this dude's got an absolute cannon, but that was it. Like there was no other skill behind it. What did he go to? Did he go to Utah or like Utah State
Jordan Love, yeah, somewhere weird. I'd have to look it up.
and that's kind of a typical thing in football now is like a lot of small school or like kind of whatever off off the
Yeah,
beaten
Utah
path,
State.
major conference type shit, and they got to just throw it in Will Levis.
Okay, I like it. Getting weird.
Hmm.
Um, the fucking Commanders, dude. I think
I
this.
know a lot of Commander fans like Richardson too, by the way.
I was just gonna say. So I think this is where this continues to get weird, and I think I take Richardson. Um, not that that's really an off the wall pick, right? Like the Commanders definitely need a quarterback. Um,
What does it say on their needs? I'm just curious.
quarterback, center, corner.
Corner, yeah, that's okay. That's what I was
Well,
gonna say was
actually,
corner, yeah.
take back the center and just offensive linemen, fucking across the board.
True,
Uh,
their offense line is
yeah.
horrific. Yes.
Um, was Rivera there when they drafted Cam Newton?
In Carolina, yeah, he
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I mean, hell, that team went to a Super Bowl, and I'm pretty sure the Panthers fans would run that back if they could. So I do actually, the more I talk about it out loud, I think there is something to Richardson going to the Commanders. There's a lot of similarities with Cam.
Cam.
So yeah, let's just fucking lock it in. Let's just stop talking about it and
Whoa.
do it. Um,
Fair. Yeah. Yeah.
it's just part one of four, if not more. Steelers at 17. Well,
You know, they were 9-8 last year, right? By like the skin of their teeth.
yeah,
And nobody likes what's his two gloves? What
Pickens.
the hell's
Oh no,
Pickens? No, no, not no. Yeah, Pickens
Pickett.
can't catch with two gloves, and Pickett. I think they call him Kenny Two Gloves. Um, 'cause
That's
it's
funny.
just not meant to be. Um, I'm trying to think what does this say their needs are? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're
Give
good.
me needs for Pittsburgh.
So according to CBS,
Yeah.
offensive tackle, corner, wide receiver, linebacker, defensive line, safety.
Yeah, let's just be smart and let's just take Broderick Jones.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
He's a Georgia offensive lineman. Georgia offensive
It's a
linemen
big boy too.
are prepared. Yeah. And they play in a nasty division, so
Yeah, really high athletic score as well. 9.6 pretty much.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's a little too much zoom. A little too much zoom action for me.
Yes,
Um, okay, Lions at 18. back to the
Who'd they
Lions.
get who'd they get the first time around?
So we drafted Christian, or I drafted Christian Gonzalez for him.
Right.
Um, do you think
Hmm.
Dan Campbell's on the hot seat?
No,
Like
I don't.
you think if they miss the playoffs, he's good?
I mean, I think all coaches that miss the playoff aren't good, right? Like
Well,
they
okay.
take a hit. You know what I mean? No, not that. I think he's done a hell of a job there, man. That it's not. It's still not a good team, and I mean they almost made the playoffs last year.
Man, I
So
got I should
if
I
to ask
needed
your
to
question, I think they're in win now mode. Yeah.
I needed to prepare more for this because I agree. I actually think they're in win now mode as well. Not
Yeah, I
like
mean, I think they're going to win
it's
the
all or
division.
nothing, but I think Dan Campbell thinks he's getting close to the hot seat, but I also think they're in a pretty good position to make a legitimate playoff run, which is probably one of the most laughable things I've ever said out loud regarding football, saying that the fucking Lions think they're
Yeah,
ready to
yeah,
make a playoff run.
yeah.
With
Fair.
that being said, I like getting weird here. I'm going to take
I
probably the
like it.
best offensive weapon left, and that's going to be
Okay.
Dalton Kincaid, which I don't like. I've already
Well, hold
done
on.
it.
Didn't they? Oh, you've already. True. It's too late. That's fair.
They moved on from Hawkinson last year, which
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
you know I was kind of shocking, but whatever. It is what it is. They could use, like I said, they could obviously use another offensive weapon. Um, Kincaid is either him or Quentin Johnson are the best weapons left. I think they're already happy with their receivers, right? Like they have Amon-Ra St. Brown and the dude they fucking drafted last year. As long as he can stay healthy, right? They have a number one and number two.
And Marvin Jones, they brought him back. He's a solid veteran wide receiver, so that's good
Yeah,
too.
and so why not get a dude who can just be a fucking mismatch right up the middle,
It's a
or
weapon.
up the seams. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it. Let's see if the Detroit Lions can make a run this year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, they have to. They don't have a choice,
Hmm.
right? They haven't been good in a long time, like a real long time. So, can you scroll up on the right side for me? Okay. So Tampa Bay is maybe the worst team to ever draft 19th overall.
Yeah, there's
They have a 97-year-old Mike Evans, a broke down the other receiver, Christ, from Penn State. It doesn't matter what his name is.
Godwin.
Godwin. So this is somebody that I'm kind of mad that I'm taking for Tampa Bay because I kind of would have liked him to make it to Dallas or
Hmm.
whatever. But let's just take. I mean, they're going to take Ringo. They got to take a safe player.
Oh wow.
They got a player, somebody that can make that. That's not going to. They need players now, man. Let's just call it what it is. So I'll
Okay.
take Ringo. And he was somebody that I'd have been interested at
I'm
Dallas 26.
I'm surprised you would be interested in Ringo at 26, considering you're the one that kind of put me on to listening to Broadus. And not that Broadus is obviously the only source, but Broadus does not like Ringo at 26. And
For
I,
the Cowboys.
right, yes. And I mean, I understand, keep your mind open to other sources than Broadus. I'm not saying he is the one and only, but yeah, him and all his gang,
Oh
they
yeah,
don't
and
even think
also yeah,
Ringo's going in the first round.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this is not what I would do. That's what I was saying. Like what it's a broad where
Yeah,
you're taking like the
sure.
general, the whole board, not like what. So I'll take Ringo there. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we
Who does
did it.
Seattle get? Will Anderson Jr. Right.
All right, so now we're down to Seattle at 20. We
Hmm.
previously drafted Will Anderson Jr.
Hmm.
At 5. Um, I- I'm trying to
Yeah.
think. I mean, so I think they definitely go secondary here. I just think it's crazy, and I couldn't imagine drafting a safety in the top 20.
Yes,
Um,
especially not a.
I mean, he
You know,
this
I
Branch is. Let me look. Branch is supposed to be a box guy, right? Oh no. Oh yeah, yeah. He's a fucking downhill fucking. fucking
If
challengers.
if it's not Troy Polamalu or Ed Reed, the kind of free ranging safety that can make plays and everything, no, you can't draft a box safety in or like right now, Bika Fitzpatrick is a really good safety in the league because
Yeah.
he's a playmaker. You know,
Seattle is another team that drafts kind of funny though, so I wouldn't be
they're yeah
shocked.
they're one of the most funny, if not the most funniest. Yeah.
But I cannot draft a safety in the top 20.
Mm.
Um, I'm also not a scout. I also don't watch Brian Branch's tape. I'm not an Alabama fan, so my pick is
Yeah, no
probably
ties.
not
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
necessarily justified here. Um, but I'm going to take Joey Porter Jr.
Oh, thank the Lord. I thought you were gonna do me dirty. Thank you, thank you.
This is a corner I would really actually like to see fall to Dallas. I would be interested in this happening even after the Stephon Gilmore trade. Um,
Yeah, yeah, me too.
so I do know a little bit more about Porter, especially than Branch. So I think this is another good pick. It's another need. Man, is it a need for the Seahawks though? Who are
Well,
their corners?
I know they had the really well. Didn't they have the best?
They
Didn't
had a really good rookie, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think he led the league in interceptions, which
Yeah.
is not the end of the world, but you need to have playmakers either way. So I mean, it's when you're drafting in the 20s, I believe that's when you take that's kind of like you take the best available that fits a position of need or most just a really valuable position.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna take this as my first time. I really need to start doing a little bit more homework, and I'm gonna change my mind here, and I'm gonna go Isaiah
Oh,
Foskey as a guy who can chase the quarterback. Um, I think Seattle might be pretty content with their secondary right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the edge.
wait, isn't his name Diggs in Seattle, or is it Dunbar? What the
I
hell?
don't know. Let
Okay,
me
yeah,
let me
oh
let me
yeah,
check while you're
okay, okay,
picking.
double check. Well, this one is pretty easy too. I mean, I got lucky with a couple teams here in a row that I thought was pretty easy. Um, because they got Herbert has weapons, but the dude's, Mike Williams is basically hurt his whole career or whatever, and Keenan Allen's getting old,
Holy
and he's had
shit.
some injury issues too. So they got to take Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, yeah, good pick. I like it.
You know,
I don't like it, but for the sake of this exercise, I like it.
yeah, yeah.
Cornerback. No, there's nobody named Diggs on the Seattle defense. There's a
Is it Dunbar?
Mike Jackson,
Did Quadri did? Oh no, it's not
Trey
him. No,
Brown,
that
Isaiah Dunn, and Chris Steele. At least
no.
according to ESPN's current depth chart of the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know. I mean,
All right, yeah.
I'm just reading what's here. Jamal Adams. Oh, Quandre Diggs. He's listed under free safety though.
Okay,
Tariq
that's
Woolen is
okay.
your dude.
Woolen,
Yeah,
Woolen.
yeah,
That's
there we
his
go.
name.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
listed
yeah, yeah, yeah.
really fucked up. Sorry.
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
His depth chart is not easy to not not easy to read. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Okay, we got there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay, Quentin Johnson of the Chargers, the Ravens at 22. Um, I actually don't know how to make this pick, right? Because this could drastically change whether Lamar's here or not. Um,
Yeah, true.
and by here I mean there.
Although, aren't don't you have the idea that as soon as that pick is made, like if they don't trade Jackson, like if they don't trade Jackson before the draft, right? That means if they are still to trade him, the draft pick, that team is not going to trade the player they drafted, right? They're going to say, "Hey, listen, we like this guy. We will trade you the next 2-year draft picks, right?
I
First round picks,
mean
if that's
that
what they like settled on." Do you know what I mean?
and that makes sense. However, this is I guess where I got to do more homework. I don't know what the tag dictates, right? I understand it
I think
dictates
it's
two
two
first
first round
round
picks.
picks, but
Yeah,
does it
yeah.
dictate this year's and next year's, or
Oh, I see, I see.
does it define when those first round picks have to be given?
Hmm.
It might not. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So
Maybe it just depends on. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the teams can just agree. Hey, this is what we're gonna do. I don't know.
I don't. I'm not sure. Not a GM. I guess probably for good reasons.
True, fair.
Uh, I guess this really doesn't change too much, right? Because I think whether Lamar's here or not, I don't think, man.
They're a really good
Hen,
drafting
Hen,
team.
Hendon Hooker is kind
No,
of
no, no,
attractive
no.
here.
Come on.
Um, I mean, I would look into this more if I knew Lamar was not going to be here. I would not make that pick if
Hell no.
he was here, obviously. So let's go. I'm going to go with the assumption that he stays, or at least has not been traded at the time of the draft. Um, and I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to try to butter him up a little bit.
Okay.
I don't like my options at buttering him up though. I do not like Jordan Addison. I don't. He's too small.
And and they're awful at drafting receivers too.
Um,
They're basically New England bad.
I don't know that they're ready to get a replacement for Mark Andrews either, right? So that kind of takes Michael Mayer off the board for me. Um, but I think Baltimore, if Lamar is still technically with the Ravens at this point, I think they have no choice but to kind of draft something as a that could be considered a weapon. I'm going to
Okay.
take Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee.
Okay.
Just a fucking speedy dude who can get downfield. Plenty of games under his belt.
What about how come it didn't work out with Hollywood Brown? Can't catch. Good point. I
Yeah,
answer my
I
own
was gonna
question.
say he couldn't really catch, right? Like, I mean, he could. He can catch better than me, but it's not saying much. So,
True.
um, he was hurt a bunch, wasn't he? Also.
Yeah. He's a little guy, you know.
Hmm.
Give
But either
me
way,
scroll down a little bit for me, like maybe the 5 or 6, 7 guys.
let me
Yeah,
know
and a
if you
little
want me to
bit
keep
more
going.
too. Oh, there he is. Okay. Interesting that how this is listed here. Okay. Minnesota. Okay. They let Thielen go,
Hmm.
right? Justin Jefferson's a problem. They traded for Hawkinson. He's a really good mismatch tight end. They still got what's his face, Fumbleitis, at running back, who is really impressive and dangerous, but also like doesn't show up either. Whatever, call it what it is. So I mean, man, I hate this because this is not how I would do it or whatever. And Kirk Cousins is probably gone next year, but all the quarterbacks are gone, so they can't really help themselves there. Scroll up a tiny bit too, please. I'll just say because I know this guy's a solid player. I'll just take Joey Porter Jr. here now.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
I mean that. Go
you
ahead. Sorry.
know, just because I mean, nobody has enough corners. Nobody ever does. And you don't love any of the receivers here, like absolutely need to have one of them specifically. And there is a lot of corners, but they're probably going to go a run on here probably soon. So you got to get one, get the best of the bunch, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Fucks with it. Um, Jacksonville Jaguars. I would like to say that this is a no-brainer
Do it,
pick,
do it.
but it's not a no-brainer pick.
Okay, come on, link up.
Hang on, I'm taking this off the screen for a second for our
Oh,
viewers. I'm gonna cheat. Oh, you can see what I'm doing though, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. That's yeah. I mean, yeah, got to protect the goods.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I got this right. Um, right in the sense of who I had the right player in mind.
Yeah.
I think they go Darnell right here.
Oh,
Uh,
okay,
he's the bigger of the two tackles left, and so I'm really bringing this back to when Peterson was a coach in Philly,
okay.
and I really think he liked the idea of just having, yeah, I don't want to say like just like physically the biggest offensive line possible, but I think there is definitely something to having your biggest offensive lineman possible. And if my options are between the two top tackles left, there's a 30-pound difference. I'm taking the dude that's fucking heavier
Give me
and
the
is going to
thick
give
boy.
me
Yeah.
more and give me more pass protection. I think Anton Harrison, whatever his name, I think he's going to give you a little bit more in the run, which I know is kind of wild saying as an Oklahoma lineman, right? All they do is fucking throw the ball there.
Yeah.
But I think
90
in the
throws a
NFL,
game.
that's what that's going to come out to if Anton Harrison does not get moved to guard. So with the 24th pick here in the draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm going to go with Darnell Wright.
Okay. So I get the Giants. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. They're not particularly a good drafting team either, so I feel like whoever I pick here is going to be an upgrade for them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just know they don't have much talent anywhere on the team. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, I mean, they overachieved obviously with where they were. Good job coaching, but I mean, they basically could get a talent upgrade at like almost every position on the field, right? I do know that their tackles they like now, Thomas and Neal. Neal wasn't great in his first year, but I mean, it was just his first year, so and it's adjustments and whatnot, whatnot. And I know they just traded for Waller, but
Mm-hmm.
Waller's been hurt the last bunch of years. So they got to do an upgrade there, and I'm kind of surprised I'm doing this, but they're just going to take Mayer from Notre Dame. Sorry, I drug that out a little bit longer than I should have, whatever. But they need weapons, and I don't really like any of the receivers either. Like you said, we're saying earlier, whatever. None of them really like oh gotta have. So let's just
Mm-hmm.
give them another weapon for Daniel Jones.
Sure. Um, okay. That puts me at 26 for the Dallas Cowboys. I feel a lot of pressure right now, actually. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie. So
How about just lay it out
interesting.
there for everybody? What do you think are the top three needs or the top two or three needs of the Cowboys like going into the draft? What do they gotta get?
So my first one's going to be very vague. I think they need an offensive weapon.
Okay.
Whether that I'm not a fan of them drafting Bijan Robinson. However, it can be. I can accept that if that were to happen and not be mad. Like I think that's still a really good pick. Depending on how the draft goes, I would bet that there's better value elsewhere. Um,
Okay, yeah.
names like Bijan Robinson, like I said, I really like Dalton Kincaid, which it kind of hurt me to take him earlier for the Lions, but
Yeah.
um, I'm really not a fan of Mayer. I I agree, and I hate to go back to Broadus. Um, he
He
compared
knows
him
his
to
stuff,
Dalton.
man.
He compared him to Dalton Schultz, and I'm like, man, that doesn't really excite me, right? Like,
Nope. Nope.
that's a safe pick. He is an offensive weapon, but I think even you said it before. Schultz, he'll get you a first down, and that's it, which
Every
is
time.
which is great, right? But I want somebody who's gonna get me first down and then five, or more obviously, right? Like I want someone who's gonna be a mismatch. So Mayer
Especially in the
doesn't
first
excite
round.
me. Um, fucking Quentin Johnston as well, but that's not on the board here. So,
I
but
drafted
uh,
him a
but either
couple
way,
rounds ago,
back
yeah.
to your original question. Yeah, I guess I'm ranting here. So I think offensive weapon. Again, I
Hmm.
understand it's vague. I think guard is probably your second need. And then I think depending on how the board falls, I think defensive tackle. I could be talked into taking a defensive tackle here at 26. Um,
Mm.
I could also be talked into edge. And I don't know that the Dallas Cowboys don't need an edge this year, but next year it's going to be ugly. They got a lot of guys on a 1 year
Mm.
deal, so I could definitely be talked into that as well. So with keeping all that in mind, I actually really don't like my options here.
Really? Okay.
Um,
I'm pretty as I'm pretty happy with my situation.
with this how it's laid out,
Yeah.
so I don't like Addison. I'm sure he's going to be a good talent. I don't know that he's a good fit for the Cowboys. which I think is too small.
You
Um,
don't like the idea of maybe having the best interior offensive lineman available?
so who are you saying that is?
Well, so that is I don't have the names down yet,
Are you
which
saying that's
I know
fucking Schmitz?
I'm I'm multiple months behind where I normally would be
Mhm.
in any kind of watching. But what about look? Can you search the guards? I'll know the names as soon as I see them.
Avila.
Avila is what I yeah,
So I,
or was it Moffitt?
yeah, that is another name I recognize. Offense. So I don't like Torrance. I would be okay with them taking Avila here at um, 26. I think it is a bit of a reach, right? Like I think you could.
Can you look at the tackle too, please?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Zavala, I know too. I do.
Cody Mock's another good one. Hmm.
I mean, yeah. I mean, this is
Uh,
kind of what happens when you draft it. You're not. I mean, nobody loved the Tyler Smith draft pick last year either, right? They were happy. Okay, this is the best. He's the most physically gifted player. He's got a lot of upside, but he's really raw. And did we really want anything? A player that was really raw, right? That was kind of the thing we argued or talked about most was
right.
were we okay with kind of waiting around?
Yeah, yeah.
And the
Um,
other the other option I was just going to ask about, and then please make your pick, or whatever. But what about the defensive tackle from Pittsburgh? He's a little undersized, but
Pittsburgh.
he's freak speed. I think it's Clancy is his name.
Oh, Kalaya
Uh,
Kansi. Right.
Kendrick Clancy or something.
Kalaya.
Yeah,
Or Kalia.
yeah,
Kansi,
yeah,
whatever.
Clancy,
Um,
right?
so I would actually prefer Mozzie Smith because I think Mozzie Smith is more of a run stopper than Cansey is. I think Cansey is the guy that's going to get you pressure upfield, which is
Yes,
you definitely want
100%.
pressure. You want
Yeah,
pressure
yeah,
upfield,
yeah.
right? Don't get me wrong. But I think Dallas really needs somebody who can stop the run more than they need pressure upfield. But they
Okay.
did also just re-sign Jonathan Hankins,
Hankins, yeah.
so I would be willing to not draft that here. Prior to the Jonathan Hankins re-signing, I would have been okay with that. And Deontay Banks is a pretty good pick though too,
Was it the Maryland corner?
and is the biggest corner on the board. Dan Quinn likes that, but you just fucking traded for Stephon Gilmore.
It's tough, dude. It's tough, especially on week one or our first draft or whatever.
I'm I'm gonna get.
Okay.
I don't want to think too. I don't think it's too weird here. I'm gonna stick with my offensive weapon,
Okay.
need here, and I am gonna go Darnell Washington. Um,
Okay.
I think
Really? Okay, that surprises me.
so he is one of the few tight ends that can come in and do everything for you right away. He can block, he can catch the ball, and I think I agree with the train of thought of Darnell Washington was not used in Georgia like he really could have been, but that's also because he was surrounded by you know top national talent at the running
Every
back
position.
position, at the wide
Yeah.
receiver
Yeah.
position, all the way down to their fourth wide receiver. So, and the dude's fucking massive. Um, I don't think Dallas actually goes with Washington at 26, but I like the pick. I don't know. I would
Okay.
be
No,
okay with
hey.
that. Let's just move on. I don't know.
Okay.
Panicking here.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
It's true.
What real quick before I make my pick, whatever, is the Buffalo Bills, is their window open or closed?
I think it's closed. I think
Okay.
I think it's closing.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, yeah.
they maybe this year, but I think they're trending down. I think.
Would you have said like this? It didn't work out the way, but this would have been a perfect pick, like for Bijan Robinson to make it to Buffalo.
Yeah. Yes.
Um.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and unfortunately, I don't exactly know. This is a team that I know they have a lot of talent, and because they're really ranked high in offense and defense, but I don't exactly know um, their depth and exactly where they have too much point, stuff put into. So I want this guy to not make it out of the first round, and I'll just take a guy that can affect the game. I'll take Clancy here.
Okay. Bucks with it. Um, Bengals.
Yep. Don't
They
you can't
also
even
need
play
a little
around. You
bit of
cannot
everything.
play around. You know there's two positions they can take and that's it. There's no joking around.
Well, I mean, with that,
Okay,
I
now you're
mean,
gonna joke around. Got it.
they forever need offensive linemen.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Like they're hurting for fucking squirting. Like they're leaking
They're
out of every
it's a
fucking hole they
travesty.
possibly could leak out of.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's real
yeah,
bad.
I think Anton Harrison's a really good pick. DeJuan Jones is another really good pick. Um, yeah, I'll just go with Harrison.
You
Done
have
deal.
to, right? I mean, you know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, done deal. Saints 29.
Saints dumpster fire.
Bacardi and Cole would do it.
Yeah, they got Derek Carr.
It's true.
And they brought Michael Thomas back. Like I don't understand. I thought
I
he
thought he
was
retired.
he's been hurt and he's been beefing and like so I don't understand. But and I'll only make this and this is a player like you said before I have to watch because he's really high ranked on here and I don't know why because I don't really know too much about him. But I'm just gonna take Brian Branch because he is
Sure.
a safety and Alabama's close to the New Orleans. So I'll just put that two and two together there. That's all.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, the fucking Eagles, huh?
Hmm.
It's really interesting. We took a defensive tackle. Yeah, we gave them Jalen Carter earlier.
Hmm.
Hmm.
They ran it up there.
Oh yeah. Um,
Yeah, what are you
I
thinking?
I think they are interested in a corner for sure, and I don't know how that's not listed as a need here, right? So it says CBS has their needs as safety, wide receiver, guard, running back, linebacker. I think them needing an offensive guard is laughable, right? Like they got Cam Jurgens, a dude they drafted in the second round last year. Unless he's like stupid or something, I don't know why that's a need. Uh, and I think they're seriously underrating the fact that Darius Slay's on a 1 year deal, and I think James Bradbury only has a short time left as well, and they're both aging. So I think I really like corner here for the Eagles. I almost said
Yeah.
Cardinals. Um, and I'm going to go with Cam Smith over Deontay Banks as much as I actually like Deontay Banks more, especially for Dallas. I don't know that there's not a lot of teams out there that really go for the whole like we want bigger corners thing like Dan Quinn does.
Yeah, that's it's
And Cam
that's
Smith
that is
isn't
small.
nearly
Yeah.
as big as Deontay Banks. So I'm not saying they're going with him because he's smaller, but I don't know that they're valuing Deontay Banks' size like Dallas would. So I'm going to go Cam Smith here for the Eagles at 30.
Okay, I like that. I like that. And the Chiefs get the last pick, right?
Sure do.
Because they won the Super Bowl. But and also the Dolphins lost their first pick too because they were doing some shit
Yeah.
with Tom Brady, right? Is that true? That
No,
was
it was
tampering or some
for the
crap or something.
tanking, wasn't it? Didn't they get like
Hmm.
I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe it was
yeah,
for
whatever.
tampering.
Yeah.
It was for something sketchy.
Um, this also would have been an awesome pick for Bijan Robinson or whatever. Even though they show that they can, you don't need you don't
No,
need a
no.
running back or whatever, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I'll just take and like I said, the next couple weeks will obviously be way better. This will be way more prepared. Just with just gaining having a little more time or whatever too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go off the top though, or off of not on the list or whatever, but BJ Ojolari, right? Pass
Okay.
rusher
I swear to God, I
LSU.
was just thinking that name.
Uh, you know, and I'll take that, and I would be happy, as a Kansas City fan.
Yeah. Okay. So there you have it. Our full first round mock drafts by Chally and the
Let's
boys.
let's go.
Got a little scroll action here to make sure it's on the record.
True. No hiding
No,
anything.
no, yeah, yeah, yeah. There it is. All right, we wrap it up there. Unless you have any last minute questions, comments, or concerns, there, William.
No, it was fun. I didn't know this was coming at all, so that didn't
Yeah,
help the situation, but
gotcha.
it also made it a little more fun. Like you
Yeah,
said, it gave me some options.
yeah, man. That's what it's all about. Having a little bit of
Yes.
fun. So let's wrap it up
Draft
there,
season.
and we'll catch y'all next week for sure.
28 days till draft.